Recently, I had made a video talking about all the men's singles champions in the open era of tennis, and it got me thinking. Let me look at the most dominant champions in terms of men's singles championship victories over a decade. Now, the Open era started in 1968, so the 60s as a decade cannot be counted. But if we consider the 2 years in the 60s which were part of the Open era, 1968 and 1969, and we consider the 7 majors that qualify as part of the Open era, 5 of them were won by Australian legend Rod Laver. So, Rod Laver, with 5 majors, is the most dominant men's singles champion in the Open era of tennis from the 60s. In the 1970s, the most dominant men's singles champion in tennis was Bjorn Borg with 8 men's singles championships. In the decade 1980 to 1989, which I believe is the most competitive decade in the history of tennis so far, we have 2 people with 7 men's singles championships at the top of the ladder, Ivan Lendl and Mats Wilander. In the 90s, the most dominant tennis player in the men's singles event was, of course, American legend Pete Sampras with 12 men's singles championships. From 2000 to 2009, the most dominant men's singles tennis player was Roger Federer with 15 men's singles championship wins. From 2010 to 2019, you might be forgiven to assume it would be Novak Djokovic with 15 championships, but an honorable mention needs to be made of Rafael Nadal, who was very close behind with 13 men's singles championships between 2010 and 2019. From 2020 to 2025 Australian Open, so far Novak Djokovic with 8 men's singles championships is leading the pack, but it is possible that someone like Carlos Alcaraz might overtake Novak Djokovic before the decade is over. Remember, Roger Federer, who won 15 championships in the first decade of the 21st century, only began winning in 2003. In the first 3 years, 2000, 2001 and 2002, Roger Federer did not win any major championships. Carlos Alcaraz still has a shot, and even other players like Yannick Sinner or people you may not be expecting at this stage might overtake Novak Djokovic. As things stand now, Novak Djokovic is the only player who is at the top of the charts in 2 different decades, and that, more than anything else in my opinion, bolsters his case for being the greatest of all time.